بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. So this is our inshallah lecture on Hajj, and the purpose behind this lecture is to try to give you a framework, try to give you a clear idea for you to have a good visualization of what Hajj is. Okay, we might not address all the minute details, because if you were to look at Hajj as a detailed process, it could become quite overwhelming. So we're going to give some structure there. So we will first sort of give an introduction on Hajj, then we will break down Hajj, like we do with Salah, into three parts. One part is Al-Arkan, which are the pillars of Hajj. These are the most important acts of Hajj. Just like in the prayer in Salah, you have Rukn or Arkan. These are the pillars of Salah. If you miss any of them, your prayer is invalid, is not accepted. There is something similar with Hajj. There are certain things in Hajj that are considered to be Arkan, pillars. And if you miss any of them, the Hajj is invalid. The Hajj is invalid, it's not accepted. And then a second level is Wajibat, obligations. So obligations or wajibat come in second place after arkan. Somebody might ask, so arkan are not obligation? They are double obligation. So obligation means they come second place after the arkan. They're not pillars, but they are things that you have to do. Things in Hajj you have to do. If you miss, write this down, if you miss any of them, then you have to slaughter an animal for that. Hadi, it's called hadi. Sheep or lamb. Okay? And the third level is sunan, recommendations, things that complete your Hajj, but if you miss any of them, there's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. These are the three levels that we, inshallah, will give structure to our understanding of Hajj. So let's start first with Hajj. Hajj is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. We know in the hadith of Jibreel alayhi salam, when he asked the Prophet sallallahu, he came to him as a man, أخبرني عن الإسلام, tell me about Islam. The Prophet sallallahu says, الإسلام أن تشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمدا رسول الله. You testify that none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. وتقيم الصلاة وتؤتي الزكاة وتصوم رمضان وتحج البيت. You establish salah and pay zakah, and you fast Ramadan, and you perform Hajj. Hajj in the Arabic language comes from a verb, hajja. Hajja means amma or qasada. It means to aim at something or to head towards something. Why? Because Hajj is a journey. You head towards the sacred house in Mecca. That's what Hajj is. So Hajj is one of the pillars of Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. This is in Surah Al-Baqarah. And it's the right of Allah upon people that they perform Hajj to His house, whoever is capable to do so. And Hajj is one of the greatest deeds that a person could engage in. The Prophet ﷺ says in the authentic hadith, من حج ولم يرفث ولم يفسق رجع كيوم ولدته أمه. A person who performs Hajj, and in their Hajj they do not engage in any argument, they don't say any foul language, they don't use any word, bad language, and they don't engage in sexuality, because any sexual, we're going to talk about this, during the state of Ihram, when you enter in the state of Hajj, you are not allowed to engage in sexuality at all, any form of sexuality. So whoever observes these things in his Hajj, the Prophet ﷺ says, رَجَعَ كَيَوْمِ وَلَدَتْهُ أُمُّهُ. He will return, or she will return, as they were born, or as the day they were born. Basically without a sin. Sins have been wiped out completely. This is collected by Bukhari and Muslim. Hajj is, as we said, one of the pillars of Islam. It's an obligation upon every Muslim once in a lifetime. Once in a lifetime, when the person is capable. When the person is capable. Why in Islam we say with Hajj when a person is capable, but we don't say that with Salah? Because Salah, you are capable of doing it. Even if you are physically uncapable, what you do there's a way to perform it. You can't stand up, you pray while seated. You can't sit up while lying down, you can still pray. If you can't move anything except your eyes in your body move, you pray with your eyes. If you can't even move your eyes or anything, you pray internally with your intention. You actually go through the prayer internally. So you're praying. Okay, so salah, you're always capable. As long as you're conscious, which is the condition, then you can pray. But with Hajj, it's a journey. It requires finances, it requires physical ability, it requires time as well. So this is why this condition stood out, that you should be able or capable to perform it. So let's break down Hajj into the three components that we mentioned. This will give structure to Hajj. So the most important thing in Hajj is what we call the arkan, the pillars of Hajj. These things you have to do them no matter what, because if you miss any of them, your Hajj is not acceptable. It's invalid. Number one, al-ihram, entering a state of ihram. What is ihram? Ihram is a state you enter in. It's like a special state. You enter in and it has conditions and it has limitations. So how do you enter the state of ihram? You enter it with intention. You enter it with intention. And this intention is spoken, not like salah. In salah, in the prayer, you have intention in your heart. But in Hajj, you verbalize your intention. It's in your heart, but you verbalize it. So what do you say? For example, لبيك اللهم حجا. لبيك اللهم حجا. Or if you are making tamattu', and we're going to explain this, you say لبيك اللهم حجا وعمرة. لبيك اللهم حجا وعمرة. Or if you are making qiran, which is a type of Hajj as well, we will talk about, you say لبيك umrah, and then when you enter again for Hajj, the state of ihram for Hajj, you say لبيك اللهم حجا. Okay? And if someone is doing ifrad, there are three types of Hajj. They're essentially the same, but small difference. Someone is doing qiran, they say لبيك اللهم حجا. Also, someone is doing ifrad. So the first pillar is entering into a state of ihram. Entering into a state of ihram. So a state of ihram has aspects to it. First, it starts with intention that you verbalize, as we said. You say لبيك اللهم. Most of you are going tamattu', right? If not all of you. That's the recommendation, and that's the best way to go. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ recommended, that you do tamattu'. Tamattu', basically you're doing Hajj and Umrah in this journey. You're doing Hajj and Umrah. First you do the Umrah, then you break from ihram, then you do the Hajj. So that's what most people do, and it's the best choice. So ihram has aspects. First, the intentional aspects where you verbalize it. For example, لبيك اللهم حجا وعمرة. Then it has physical aspect, which is what you wear. So males have to wear 2 pieces of cloth, which is usually the 2 towels now. You wear them, they're white, and they should be clean. And you're not allowed to wear tailored clothes. Tailored clothes. Tailored clothes means they are tailored according to the shape of the body. According to the shape of the body. Okay, it's called in Arabic makhiyat. It's tailored for the body. So that's a physical aspect of it. Another physical aspect of it, or behavioral aspect of it, is there are things you are not allowed to do in the state of ihram. For example, you can't hunt. For example, you go chasing deer, you want to eat, or you go chasing rabbits, let's cook it for dinner. You can't do that. You're not allowed. Now, people traveling by sea, they can still fish. That's fine. But only, going the game for people traveling by air or by land. And you're not supposed to engage in, during that state of ihram, you're not allowed to engage in sexuality, whether major or minor. You're not allowed to engage in any form of sexual, like flirting, etc. You're not allowed any of that, not even a comment. You're supposed to stay away from all forms of sexuality or sexual behavior. And you cannot trim hair, and you cannot clip nails. Okay, so you can't say I want to have a haircut. During that state of ihram, you can't do this. You say I want to trim my beard, you can't do this during your state of ihram. And your nails, grow long, you can't clip them during that state of ihram. You can't. Okay? And if you go against this, you will have to slaughter an animal intentionally. But if you happen to forget, you forgot, like you're staying in your hotel, you have these nail clippers, and you just grow heedless of it, you just started clipping your nails, then you remembered, I'm in a state of ihram. That's okay, that's forgivable. That's forgivable. If it's done by mistake, just forget about it and move on. And since we're talking about ihram, I know some people will have questions, so I don't want to keep talking all the time. I want to get some of your questions there. Some people ask, some of the common questions, can I wash? Can I take a bath? Yes, you can take a bath. Can I scratch my head? Yes, you can scratch as much as you need, no problem. So some hair will fall off, fine, as long as you don't pull hair or you don't trim hair or you don't shave it. Okay? But if it falls off naturally, that's fine. If you scratch it, fine, no problem. Something is itchy, you can scratch it. Okay, you have one of those like black heads and you want to burst it, that's still fine. It has nothing to do with this. Okay? Any questions about ihram, state of ihram? Yeah. Yes, you can take it off, you can take a shower, you can clean it, you can put it in the washing machine, you can put it in the dry clean place. Yes, you can change it. You can change it, yes, as long as it meets the conditions. You have 2 sets of ihram, that's fine. No, it's khalas. Yeah. Can you take it off completely? Yes. When you go for shower or use the washroom, you want to take it off completely, that's fine, no problem. But make sure during your state of ihram, which in Hajj extends for days, you don't wear underpants, you don't wear a shirt, okay, you don't wear that. Yes, you're going to have ihram. For some people it's going to be actually 5 days or 6 days might extend. Yeah, no, actually less than that. Less than that, 3 days. 8, 9, 10. Yes, towards the end of 10, it'd be okay. Yeah. So basically 3 days. We'll come to this. Don't ask about tamattu. We'll come to this. Very good question. Okay. One of the, as well, physical aspects of ihram, you cannot apply perfume. You cannot apply perfume. Okay? So don't apply perfume to yourself. Like you have this cologne or you have this oil, and apply it. No. But what you can do before you enter the state of ihram, it's advisable, it's a sunnah to take a bath, to clean yourself. So when you enter the state of ihram, you say, لَبَّيْكَ اللَّهُمَّ عُمْرَةً وَحَجًّا, you're ready, physically ready for that. Okay, so you have your ihram, you've taken off your other clothes, you've washed your body, and you could apply before that perfume. But once you enter the state of ihram, you can't apply. But if you already sprayed some perfume before, it's actually advisable.
Spray on the body, not on the ihram.
On the body or on the ihram, no problem.
On the ihram?
Yes, no problem. As long as you don't, apply it after ihram. Once you enter the state of ihram, you can't apply it.
I'm reusing my clothes.
No problem. Even if it has perfume on it from before, no problem.
So I want to wipe that one again. So
Yeah.
is it like an unscented soap?
So we're gonna get there, because the brother said, can we use soap? Now, the best option is that if you get some soap that doesn't have a scent, and I advise you to get it from Canada, because over there you might not find it. Yeah. I personally don't remember seeing this, but I don't remember seeing this, and probably your time will be so hectic you won't be able to go and get anything. So what I would say, get here unscented soap. That's the best thing. It's the safest. Some scholars say no, you can use as long as it's soap, you can use it, but most soaps are scented and very strong scent. So what I would advise is use unscented soap. Bring it with you from here from Canada. It's available in most of the stores. You can get it. The same applies to the detergent with which you wash your ihram. Yeah. So most of the time people won't have time to really wash their ihram, so you might just send it to the dry clean place or whatever. With dry clean, it's okay because they don't use any scents, any scented like material most of the time, especially there. By the same token as well, you can use deodorant, but my advice, try to get an unscented deodorant. Try to get unscented deodorant. Okay, that's always to be safe. As I said, will you find opinions that will say it's okay? Yes, you will find these, because essentially I'm not using perfume, I'm not using a scent, I'm applying it for another reason, but it just has a scent in it. But I would advise to stay away from that just to be sure. Toothpaste, no problem, because you can't find toothpaste without unscented. I think so.
When you are ihram, you have to eat.
You have to?
Eat.
Oh yeah.
And all the food comes with different spices. There's no food without spices. So when you're eating, there will be some spice in your mouth and you will smell.
Yeah, that's fine.
People say that no.
Eat your curries, no problem. You can brush your teeth, no problem. Yeah, should be okay. Because, people use deodorant for scent, right? It has a form of scent. People use detergent with good scents because it gives that smell. But no one uses toothpaste as a form of perfume, do they? Really, they don't. It's just for the sake of hygiene. Use miswak, but use toothpaste, no problem. Absolutely no problem. Don't be don't overcomplicate things when it comes to this. Don't overcomplicate. Take it easy with these things. Okay? Yeah.
Question. When you say Hajj, you say it before Umrah and Hajj, you say both, or?
The best thing is to say yes. Since you guys are making tamattu, say labbaik Allahumma umratan wa hajja. Umrah first and Hajj second. Yeah.
And sometimes
You move your hand, scratch your head. You want to play with your hair, play with your hair. If it comes off, no problem. As I said, don't have this waswas, obsessive thinking, or where did this hair come from? Apply before, not during. Before you get into the state of ihram. Yeah, if you have an issue with skin, like dry skin, etc., try again to find something unscented. But if you can do without it, it's better to stay away from scents. That's the point. But if you need it and there's only scented, use it. No problem. Okay? That's the ultimate answer. It should be okay, inshallah. Should be okay. Some people will need to use sunscreen. It might be difficult for them. Use it. You cut yourself, you do whatever you requires medically, yes. Okay, forget about scent when it comes to food, guys. Khalas, whatever. No problem. Even those mint, fresheners, whatever, that's fine, no problem. Okay? Because this is not perfume. This is not perfume, yes. You can use the bandage, no problem. Good, I was actually waiting for this one. Sandals are not shoes, so you can use the sandals, no problem. Even the sandals that wrap your heels around you, they go wrap around your heels, that's fine. What we call today sandals, right? Yeah, as long as they are not a full shoe or they're not a full sock, okay? That's fine. As long as it has mainly it's like your skin is showing, that's fine. Because that's all called a na'al. Okay, that's called a na'al. Stitches. Yeah, all of them have stitches. It's not the stitches. We said they are tailored for your body as a cloth, as a piece of cloth. Yeah, they have stitches. Like, what do you think the towels are made of? That's all stitches. That's all stitches. How can you make a towel without stitches? It's all stitches. So when the sandals have stitches, no problem. But choose the most convenient, because you're going to walk a lot and your heels and your feet might go sour. So get the most comfortable. Get the most comfortable. And don't go with these slippers that don't wrap around your heels. I'm telling you, people are going to step on them. And when there's a lot of traffic and people are so like tight around you, somebody's going to step on your sandals, and when you lift your foot, it's going to come off. And you might have to walk with your bare feet. So get the proper sandals. My advice, get proper and make sure they are. That's what I said. I said wraps around your heels, but make sure it's not a full shoe. Okay, use your common sense in this sense. Something else as well, by the way, that's a practical thing. Use a lubricant, especially this is for the brothers, as you are wearing your ihram, because you're gonna get sour skin if you don't do that. So apply Vaseline, yes, or any lubricant between your thighs. Unscented or scented shouldn't be Vaseline is unscented. It has its natural petroleum thing, not a big deal. But apply it and keep it with you, and when it dries up, apply it again. Because if you have sour skin, I'm telling you, it's going to be painful. You're going to sweat a lot and there will be a lot of friction. So make sure you use it. And some sisters might need it as well. They should just keep it with them just in case. Okay, so this is just talking about ihram. This is talking about ihram. This is the first pillar of Hajj. The second pillar of Hajj is standing in Arafah, on the day of Arafah. Standing in Arafah during the day of Arafah. And it's the most important pillar of Hajj. The Prophet ﷺ says, Al-Hajju Arafah. Hajju Arafah. So when does the standing in Arafah starts from? Starts from the time of Dhuhr, after the sun moves from the middle of the sky, that's the time of Dhuhr, till sunset. That's the time. So you should stay in Arafah until the time of Maghrib. When the sun disappears, then you start leaving. Don't leave before that. Don't leave before that. Sometimes you might arrive late or you might arrive early to Arafah, that's fine, no problem. But make sure you stay there till Maghrib, till sunset. That's you leave. Number 3, Tawaf al-Ifada. And this Tawaf, you perform it after you come from Arafah. You go to Muzdalifah, Mina, okay? Then after you throw the first Jamara, you can make Tawaf al-Ifada. And then if you can't do it that day, you could delay it later on, but this is when the time starts. Al-Ifada. Tawaf al-Ifada. Okay? This is a pillar. This is a pillar in Hajj, Tawaf al-Ifada. Most people do it the first day of Eid. Like after Arafah, you leave Arafah, following day, that's when you do Tawaf al-Ifada. That's the pillar number 3. Pillar number 4, and there are 4 arkan, 4 pillars, that's it. Number 4 is as-sa'i. So quite simple. When you look at the pillars of Hajj, the 4 things: entering the state of Ihram, standing in Arafah for that day, Tawaf, Sa'i. These are the pillars of Hajj. You secure these, your Hajj is accepted. Other things could be sort of salvaged, they could be fixed, no problem. But any of these is missing, your Hajj is gone. Okay, is that clear? Any questions, sister side? Brothers? Yeah.
I heard that it happens sometimes that trying to get the reading between Arafah before Maghrib, but sometimes it happens that we're there after Maghrib. So is it going to be acceptable at all? Or?
Bring you after Maghrib, or how come?
So,
you mean the day before?
No, from Mina to Arafah. Is it possible? Or?
No, what happens sometimes they bring you early, the night before. So Arafah is the 9th day of the Hijjah. It's day number 9. Okay? On day number 8, we're going to come to this. On day number 8, you're supposed to be in Mina. Okay? But this is skippable. A lot of groups skip that, which is okay. But they bring you on the 8th day at night. They take you to Arafah. Why? Because you have about 4 million people going to Arafah. How are they gonna, manage that traffic? They get people to go too early. So that's fine, no problem. The most important thing is that you spend the day of Arafah on Arafah, within the boundaries of Arafah. That's the most important thing. When do you make it there? If you make it early, no problem. As long as you spend the time there, even if you happen to go to Arafah late. Let's say something happened. Your vehicle is broken, some complications, and you don't make it to Arafah on the 9th. You only make it on the 9th before Maghrib. Let's say 10 minutes before Maghrib. You stand for these 10 minutes till Maghrib and you leave, you got Arafah. You have Arafah. Okay? So if you are delayed, no problem. But the most important thing, you catch Arafah before Maghrib. You stand on Arafah before Maghrib on the 9th. On the 9th. If you miss this, even with an excuse, try to come next year and make your Hajj. No, I don't say that. Don't arrive at conclusions. We're going to come to these.
That was my question.
Yeah, don't jump ahead of yourself.
Is there any time limitation of Tawaful Ifadah? Like you have to finish it by 13?
We're going to come to this slowly, but we don't want to take all the details. We just want to create a structure. We said Arkan, these are the most important things, these are the pillars. You get them right, alhamdulillah, you're safe. Anything else is fixable. Fine? So the 4 pillars of Hajj are Ihram, entering the state of Ihram. Some people say the intention as well, they make it a 5th, but it's the same. Entering Ihram is niyyah, intention, and you enter that state and you observe everything about it. Okay? Number 2 is Arafah, standing on Arafah. Number 3 is Tawaf al-Ifadah, making the Tawaf al-Ifadah. And 4th is making the Sa'i. Clear? These are the pillars. You get them, inshallah you're in good shape.
Standing at Arafah, you have to stand or like a...
We'll come to that. You can sleep, no worries. You can lie on your side, you can stand on your head, anything, as long as basically staying. Standing is an Arabic word, basically you stay in that area. That's what it means. Okay. That would be extremely like a literalist view. But there is standing. It's like some scholars recommend actually standing when you're making dua sometimes, yes. Okay, now let's move on to the second level. Okay, obligations. Sisters, any questions? No questions? Okay. Obligations. Wajibatul Hajj, the obligations, things you have to do. That if you miss in Hajj, you can make up for them with hadi, which is slaughtering one animal. Okay, the obligations are a bit more. So we have al-ihram min al-miqat al-mu'tabari shar'an. You start your ihram from specific places, from the appointed places. You don't say, I want to make ihram from Toronto, or I make ihram from, whatever. No, there are specific places where you make the ihram. There are specific places where you make the ihram. Okay, now you don't have to worry so much about this, because everyone goes with a group. So the guide is going to tell you when to make your ihram. When to make your ihram. Most of the people who come from Canada and Europe, usually they make the ihram on the plane, because they consider them to be from Ahl al-Sham, from the side of Ahl al-Sham, northwest of Mecca. So that's where al-Sham is, and this is basically where now today it's Rabigh. The place is known as Rabigh. So usually when you're on the plane, the pilot or the guide will tell you, we're gonna reach the ihram in about 10 minutes, get ready. So you have to be ready by that time. You have to have your ihram, and you have to be ready to enter the state of ihram. So you have no clothing, other clothing, etc., tailored clothing, etc. And then they will tell you, now we are above the miqat. This is the appointed place. They will tell you, we are above the miqat, and that's when you make your intention. You say labbaik Allahumma umrah or labbaik Allahumma hajjan. Okay, so that's the first obligation of Hajj, is that when you enter the ihram, you enter it at the miqat, at the appointed place. Now if you go through a bus, then basically you will go where the miqat is. Usually there is a service station which is like a masjid, and there's places to take showers and get ready for all of this. Sometimes people go first to Medina, and then their guides say, okay, you start your ihram from Medina, which is known today as Abiyar Ali. Okay, so to the south of Medina there's a masjid, there's a lot of facilities there where you can take showers, etc., and get ready, and there you are at ease because you have time. You're not flying. It's not like a matter of seconds when you make or a minute when you make your ihram. Here, I mean, you're stationed here, and then you're going to go by bus or by plane or whatever, but you have the time. So now you are in the miqat, you get yourself ready, you take a shower if you want, you put on your ihram, and you want to use before that any perfume, apply any perfume, etc. Then you just say, Labbaik Allahumma hajjan wa umrah. So this, I'm not sure, each group is going to take a different route. Some of them take Jeddah and they say actually you can make your ihram from Jeddah. This is still okay. Some scholars say Jeddah is actually a miqat. Jeddah is a miqat, so some groups use Jeddah. Follow my advice, follow your guide there. Follow your guide and don't make an issue. Don't make an issue. So that's the first obligation. So the second obligation, الوقوف بعرفة إلى الليل لمن أتاها نهارا, which is basically, now we said the rukun or the pillar is to stand in Arafah. To stand the whole until Maghrib, that's an obligation. Let's say you stood in Arafah for an hour. You came at Dhuhr time, you stayed there for till 3 o'clock, and then you decided to leave. Your Hajj is accepted, but you have to slaughter an animal. If you leave Arafah before Maghrib, okay, you have violated an obligation, wajib. So what do you have to compensate with? Slaughtering an animal, hadi. Obligation number 3. المبيت بمزدلفة ليلة النحر إلى منتصف الليل. Now, when you are done with Arafah, and by the way, we're going to go over the Hajj step by step, but now I'm just creating a structure. Then we will go how to see these in sequence, in a narrative. After you leave Arafat, Maghrib time, after Arafat there is Muzdalifah, and then there is Mina. After Arafat there is Muzdalifah, then there is Mina. Mina is where the Jamarat, the throne of the Jamarat is. Muzdalifah is called Al-Mash'ar Al-Haram. Okay, it's an area between Arafat and Mina. Now in Muzdalifah, what do? You are supposed to spend the night there. You're supposed to spend the night there, and the Prophet ﷺ slept. Prophet ﷺ slept there. And he slept till midnight. He slept till midnight. Then he started moving to Mina. Now, with all these numbers, most people don't get to sleep at Mina. So what the scholars say, if you get to spend some time in Muzdalifah, and with the traffic, most people actually spend that time. Some of them say 2 hours, okay, in Muzdalifah on the way, because once you are on the bus, you're trying to make it from Arafat to Mina, where the Jamarat is, okay. Actually, with the traffic, you're going to spend a lot of time in Muzdalifah, so you're going to spend some time. But the best thing is that the bus should take you to Muzdalifah, you get off the bus and you sit there. And you try to spend time. If you can take a nap, fine. Sleeping is not an obligation, spending the time is the obligation. Spending the time. So you can spend the time all the way till midnight, that would be the best. If not, some groups will say, we stay for an hour, then we leave. So there's, alhamdulillah, most of the scholars in Saudi now, because they've been dealing with these issues, they say, whatever you can spend there should be okay. Whatever time you can spend there in Muzdalifah should be okay, because the traffic is huge and the place is small. So it should be okay, inshallah. Now we're going to go over, as we said, the acts of Hajj in sequence. But now we're just talking about the obligations, all right? Yeah. Muntasaf al-Layl. Yeah. So this is the day after Arafah, right? The night after Arafah. And tomorrow is going to be Eid. It's going to be Eid. Obligation number 4 is spending the nights in Mina during the following nights. 3 nights, okay? The night of 11th, the night of 12th, and the night of 13th. By the way, the night in that calculation comes before the day. Okay, in the Western definition, yes, the 10th, the night of the 10th, which is basically the night of the 11th, actually. Yes, in the estimation of the Arabs, Maghrib is the beginning of the day. Maghrib begins, the calendar flips at Maghrib time. So the night comes before the day. So when we say the 11th night, that means the night that comes before the 11th day. You get it? So the day of Eid is day number 10. Okay? Day of Eid is day number 10. Yeah, when Maghrib comes on the day of Eid, that's 11th. That night you need to spend it in Mina. You need to spend it in Mina. Alhamdulillah, Canadian pilgrims don't have an issue with this. Some other countries don't have space in Mina, by the way. Some other countries don't have space in Mina. So what do? They take hotels in Aziziyah and inside of Mecca, and buses take them to Mina to spend a couple of hours at night. So they basically spent the night there, then they take them back to their hotel, and it's a lot of headache. But alhamdulillah, Canadian pilgrims, they actually they have their camps in Mina, so that's automatic for you. So you're going to spend these nights in Mina. Now there are 3 nights, and some people can actually only take the first 2 nights and skip the 3rd night. We'll come to this inshallah in detail. Questions about this? Right. Number 5, obligation number 5 is throwing the jamarat in order. We'll come to the details. Okay, we'll come to the details of these. There's a throwing of jamarat. We'll come to this. Obligation number 6 is shaving or trimming the hair, the head. Shaving for men is the best. That's when you end your state of ihram. Okay? Halq, yes. And for women, they just trim their hair a little bit, like that length. For women, tip of a finger, that's enough for them. The best for men is shaving, but trimming is acceptable, and it should be all over the head. It shouldn't. For men, it should be all over the head, all around. Should someone say, okay, I'll just take a couple of hairs from here and from here? No, it has to be all over. It has to be all over. And if you, by the way, shaving is with the blade. So using the machine is trimming, okay? And shaving has more reward than trimming. But this is all acceptable. It's a preference. Obligation number 7 is the final tawaf, which is farewell tawaf, tawaf al-wada'. Tawaf al-wada'. So these are 7 obligations. If you miss any of them, there is hadi upon you. You have to slaughter 1 sheep. So these are the obligations. Okay?
Slaughter part of Hajj is not obligatory. The sacrifice part of Hajj is not part of obligatory.
We're going to come to this. It's obligatory, but the reason is it's not obligatory on all the hujjaj, all the pilgrims. If you're making tamattu', it's obligatory upon you. But let's say, for example, you're making ifrad, there's no sheep, but there's no hadi upon you. Okay, so this is why it's not included. We're speaking in general. So there will be specific issues. Now let's move on to the lowest level, which is sunan, recommendations for Hajj, things that complete your Hajj, but if you miss them, still not a big deal. Taking a shower and applying perfume before your ihram. And also wearing white, by the way. Like white is a recommendation. White is a recommendation. Still. Alhamdulillah, no one wears something else. Like no one goes with red. Have you seen pilgrim with the red? Huh? The ihram, yes. Yeah, the color of the ihram. Number 2, clipping your nails and sort of getting ready for the state of ihram, like it depends, shaving your underarm hair or removing it with any way, and trimming your mustache, whatever hair you need to trim before you enter the state of ihram. That's cleaner and more convenient for you, unless it's not something haram. No. Those who are making Hajj, no, they forget about this. This is for people who are making qurbani, right? Or making adhiyah. No, it doesn't apply to pilgrims. Yeah. Okay. Number 3, as a recommendation, sunnah. Well, this doesn't apply to you because most of you, I think all of you are doing tamattu'. Were you guys informed about this? All of you are doing tamattu', so no one is going to do ifrad, which is only Hajj without Umrah, or qarin, which is Hajj and Umrah but slightly different. Okay, so this is something else for them. We're not going to mention it. The number 3 is الرمل في الأشواط الأولى من طواف القدوم. Now during tawaf, and this is not doable, during tawaf, in the first 3 rounds of tawaf, you're supposed to walk a little bit faster with shorter steps. It's called ramal. This doesn't happen. You're not going to get this, so forget it. Number 4, al-idtiba'. Okay, what's al-idtiba' during tawaf? The first tawaf. First tawaf you make in Hajj, you guys, which is going to be for Umrah. Your rida, your upper towel, okay, you uncover your right shoulder during tawaf only. During tawaf only. After you're done with your tawaf, you cover your shoulder back. Yes, only the first tawaf, okay? Yes, so what you do, instead of putting it above your shoulders, you put it above the shoulder and underneath your armpit, and then you throw it on this shoulder. So you show the shoulder. Once you're done with tawaf, cover it. My recommendation, don't pray with your shoulder showing, because by the way, shoulder has to be covered in salah. For men, shoulder has to be covered in salah. Obligation number 5, المبيت بمنى ليلة عرفة. Spending the night in Mina or at Mina before Arafah, before the day of Arafah, the night before. This is a sunnah. But most pilgrims do it, because you already have the camps there. So they're going to take you on the 8th day of the Hijjah. They're going to take you to Mina, where you take your positions in your camps, and that's the 8th day. You spend that night, which is the night of Arafah, it's because it comes before the day of Arafah. You spend that in Mina. Then they will take you to Arafah. But it might not be the case, depending on what the arrangement are. They might take you to Arafah earlier. That's fine. This is a sunnah. If you miss it, don't make a big deal out of it. The problem with some people in Hajj, like they treat a sunnah recommendation like it's a rukun. Like the Hajj is going to be invalid if I don't do this. This is a sunnah. And the issue with Hajj is practicality. Because you're talking about 4 million people, moving this body of people is not easy. So there will be arrangements you have to comply with. It's about public safety, and it's about, a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues. So if you're given some commands, or some instructions, obey them. Don't make an issue. Don't make an issue. Unless it nullifies your Hajj, it compromises a rukun, then no. And even with wajib as well, like if you can fight it back respectfully, because you don't want to have an argument. If you have an argument in Hajj, you might actually lose your reward completely. من حج ولم يرفث ولم يفسق. Basically, rafath is engaging in sexual intimacy, all types of sexual intimacy, and yafsuq al-fisq is any form of misconduct, whether it's speech or action or attitude, whatever, even attitude. So be careful. In Hajj, you don't want. And by the way, there's a lot of instances where you're going to lose your temper. People are going to get on your nerves. People are going to push you beyond your limits. I'm telling you, you're going to be making tawaf and people are going to just, like, people are pushing these chairs are going to probably break your ankle. So you have to hold back anything. People are going to do everything because it's millions of people. Okay, number 6, making talbiyah, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wan ni'mata laka wal mulk. This is for men. Women, if they want to make talbiyah, they just make themselves here, like labbaik Allahumma labbaik. They shouldn't make other people here. They hear themselves. But men, they raise their voice as much as possible, but don't lose your voice. So making that from the moment you enter the state of ihram, which is at the miqat, at the appointed place, all the way through the 8th day, the 9th day, which is Arafah, and the night that follows, until you throw the first jamara, throwing the stones. The first, before you throw the first jamara, that's it, you stop talbiyah, which is labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Okay? No. Before, once you enter ihram, until that first jamara you throw. Yes.
When you throw the first stone, you say.
Just before you throw it, yeah. You stop making talbiyah. Yeah. Boy, it's not like, okay, let me just measure it exactly. Let me catch the stone and make talbiyah. No. It could be like 30 minutes before. That's fine, no big deal. Okay? Again, don't be a literalist, extreme literalist here. Okay, number 7, praying Maghrib and Isha, combining them, Maghrib and Isha. In Muzdalifah, when you leave Arafat on the 9th, you go to Muzdalifah, you combine Maghrib and Isha at the time of Maghrib. Well, basically most of the time that just doesn't happen, unless you are the first batch that leaves Arafat. If you're lucky enough to be in the first batch and you reach Muzdalifah, where we said you try to sleep or spend the night until midnight, right? You pray Maghrib and Isha at the time of Maghrib, before the time of Isha comes, if you're lucky to get there before. But most people don't, so you end up combining them later on. That's okay. That's okay. Like when I made Hajj, I remember we were probably like the latest people who left Arafat, and subhanallah, like for hours the bus was in one spot, literally, and the bus was, unfortunately, bus was completely, like the windows could not be open, or this is completely sealed, and it had 45 people, full capacity, and the air conditioning stopped working. And literally people were passing out in the bus, unfortunately, Allah musta'an. And we didn't reach Muzdalifah until after Fajr. Muzdalifah. We prayed on the way. People prayed on the bus. Some people, like, we wanted to pray outside. They said, we can't. Anytime the traffic moves, we're going to move. We're not going to wait for you. So we prayed on the bus, unfortunately. These things happen, so you have to deal with the situation. Don't panic. Follow the lead of your guide. Follow the lead of your guide. A lot of people say, no, I'm going to lose my Hajj. You're not going to lose your Hajj. Your guide is not candy shop seller. Okay, that's what he does. Follow his instructions. Okay, then number 8, which is the last now sunnah that we're going to mention. Muzdalifah, so basically when you sleep in Muzdalifah after Arafat, stay until midnight. That's the most important thing. Actually, it's recommended you stay in Muzdalifah, okay, until sunrise. Until sunrise. Okay, and this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ عِنْدَ الْمَشْعَرِ الْحَرَامِ. You mention Allah there. You remember Allah, La ilaha illallah subhanahu. Any type of dhikr. And if not, this is close to the Mash'ar al-Haram. There's an area called the Mash'ar al-Haram in Muzdalifah. But anyway, anywhere in Muzdalifah, this is practically be speaking, anywhere in Muzdalifah, if you can stay there until sunrise, then you move to Mina where the Jamarat are. Okay? I know this might be fragmented now. Now let's go to the flow of it. Let's go to the flow of it. So let's see how the process of Hajj goes. Okay, so since all of you are making tamattu', I'm just going to speak about tamattu' because just talking about the others is going to confuse you. Talking about the others will confuse you. This will be for students of knowledge who just want to learn more about Hajj. The first thing is that you start your ihram at the miqat. You start your ihram at the miqat. So whether you are on the plane, you have to be ready. You have to have your ihram on. For the sisters, what they wear, any clothes they want. For the sisters, the ihram, there's no specific dress for ihram, but they cannot wear gloves and they cannot cover their face with niqab. That's the original ruling. Some scholars who take the opinion that niqab is that a woman should cover her face, they say when there are men, she can actually, sort of bring down part of her scarf and then remove it. But it shouldn't be like a permanent niqab. Okay? But if you don't take this opinion anyway, so just don't cover your face and don't cover your hands with gloves. But she can wear whatever she wants. Her abaya, etc. And obviously has to be decent, right? Like you can't have a woman go to Hajj with yoga pants. This is not a proper dress. You have to be very well covered. So entering the state of ihram, that's what happens. You're on the plane, or you are in Medina, or you're in Jeddah. Okay? Be ready for that. That's when the Hajj really starts for you. That's when the Hajj starts for you. Some of the instruction books actually mention what to do right from when you leave your house. Okay? These are etiquettes. You want to observe etiquettes of travel. These are etiquettes of travel. You want to observe them, perfect. Okay? But these are not part of the process of Hajj as Hajj. Okay? These are just for traveling. So Hajj starts when you enter the state of ihram at the miqat. That's when Hajj starts. So be ready for that. Dressed up properly, having sort of showered, applied or perfume, etc. You clipped your nails, you trimmed whatever hair you wanted, and you're in good shape. You're ready for that. You enter the state, labbaik Allahumma hajjan wa umrah. Once you say this, and obviously it comes with intention that, oh Allah, I'm responding to your call for Hajj and Umrah, so I'm offering them for you now. This is what it means. So you're into that state, that's it. There are things you cannot do. There are things you cannot do. So let's actually mention these. Things you cannot do during the state of ihram. Wearing tailored clothes, we said. Okay? We explained what that means. That's for men. For women, it's okay. Number 2, applying or wearing perfume after entering the state of ihram. You can't apply it after entering the state of ihram. Well, if you smell perfume, is that going to affect your ihram? No. The issue is applying. Okay, applying to yourself. Well, if you shake hands with someone and he has perfume, like perfume, that's not a big problem. Don't make a big deal out of it. The issue is when you intentionally apply. Intentionally apply. For men, is covering, wearing a hat, basically. Wearing a kufi or a hat. Wearing a kufi or a hat. Say, okay, what about an umbrella? No problem. What about, basically something that functions as a hat. Basically it wraps around your head. It wraps around your head. You want to carry your luggage on your head? No problem. Can I put my ihram on my head? No. Because that's more of a hat. So anything that sort of wraps around your head as a kufi or a hat, you're not supposed to use it. That's for men as well. For women, she's not allowed to cover her face or wear gloves. If someone does that by mistake or forgetfulness, no problem. Take it off and no problem. Carry on. No, not a big deal. What is also prohibited at the state of ihram is getting engaged in a nikah. like a wedding proposal, a proposal for marriage. No. Anything that has to do with marriage, even if it's a proposal, someone sees a good family, good girl, oh, let me speak to her dad. If you do this, you violate your state of ihram. You might risk your whole hajj. So nothing about nikah or approaching proposal or anything. And number 6, prohibited, is basically engaging in sexual intimacy of any shape, even if it's a wink of an eye. Someone said, like, they're making hajj with their wife and they make any sexual gesture. Don't do that. If it happens by mistake, okay, we said fine, but intentionally doing it might break your state of ihram and might break your whole hajj. Having full sexual intercourse, that breaks your ihram completely and no hajj. That breaks your hajj. But anything lighter than that, it jeopardizes your hajj, and it could jeopardize, as we said, jeopardizes your ihram, could jeopardize your whole hajj. But does it like guarantee khalas you can't do your hajj? No, you do your hajj and hopefully inshallah it will be accepted. Obviously the hunt game, you can't hunt. And number 9, basically cutting any vegetation in the area of the haram. Like you see, let's say you like this flower and you sort of pick it up, you cut it. No, that jeopardizes your state of ihram. And in the haram, by the way, you're not allowed to cut or trim vegetation, trees, etc. You're not supposed to touch it. Leave it as it is. Leave it as it is. Okay, if anyone commits any of these things intentionally and awareingly, what are they supposed to do? Basically, the immediate one is to perform al-hadi, which is slaughter one sheep. Slaughter one sheep. Obviously, if they can't, they have other options, either fasting 3 days or feeding 6 poor people full meals. When you violate ihram, you should do it right away. Yeah, they don't have money to do hadi. Hadi is they fast 3 days. Oh, you go to the kiosks. There's a lot of like kiosks where they actually sell the hadi, and they will ask you, what is this? Tell them this is a violation of ihram. I made a violation, and they will give you the token, and they will take the money, and they will do it for you. So now, I mean, you don't engage in it. You just go and buy the token or the receipts. Yeah. Okay, let's go now to the process of Hajj, as we said. Go back. So yeah.
So we will do Hajj and Umrah. So we have.
We're gonna come. Don't get ahead of yourself. Take it easy. Take it easy. Okay. So now you enter the state of ihram. Let's say from Medina, from Jeddah, on the plane. Regardless, you're just gonna go to the airport, to the bus port station, whatever. And then you will most likely now, practically speaking, you will go to the hotel. You will go to the hotel. During this period, you make talbiyah, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, inna alhamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak. You are in the state of ihram, you have to observe these prohibitions that we mentioned. Okay? You're going to go to your hotel, obviously get your room. A lot of people take a shower, there's no problem. Take a shower, freshen up, make sure you don't apply perfume, etc. As we said, you want to apply Vaseline, you want to as I said, wash your ihram, that's still okay. But then you have to go, as soon as possible, go and make your tawaf. You make your tawaf. You are making tamattu', so now it's your umrah. Tamattu' means you're combining hajj and umrah, starting with umrah. So you're going to make your tawaf. Tawaf al-qudum, but for your tawaf al-umrah. You make your umrah. So you make 7 rounds of tawaf. You make 7 rounds of tawaf. After that, it's a sunnah to pray 2 rak'ah. if you can, behind Maqam Ibrahim, okay, but it's very busy, so don't worry about this. Just pray 2 rak'ah sunnah. They're recommended. If you skip them, not a big deal. Okay? Then you go to As-Safa al-Marwa to make a sa'i. So you start with As-Safa, you face the Qibla, and you say نبدأ بما بدأ به الله. We start with what Allah started with, because Allah mentioned As-Safa in the Quran before the Marwa. Then there's a dua, لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له نصر عبده وأعز جنده وهزم الأحزاب وحده. You will find it in these booklets that will give you. So I don't want to distract you with these smaller things that you can actually learn on the way, or you can have the booklet with you and read from there. Makes it easy for you. And then you start your sa'i from Safa to Marwa, all the way to Marwa. Okay, this is 1. From Marwa back to Safa, this is number 2. You're going to have 7 of them. So you're going to start from Safa to Marwa, from Marwa to Safa, that's 2. It's not 1. So going back and forth is not 1, it's 2. So you make 7. So when you make 7, it's odd number, you're going to end up again in As-Safa, where you started. So every time you reach As-Safa and Al-Marwa, you turn to Al-Kaaba and you say لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له, or you say Allahu Akbar, say لا إله إلا الله وحده. The dhikr, you're going to find it there. So it's going to be easy. During your journey through As-Safa and Al-Marwa, you can make any dhikr, you can recite Quran, just like the tawaf. Tawaf, you can make dua, you can make dhikr, you can recite Quran, you can do whatever. And tawaf, I think everyone knows. Has anyone never been there? Never been there? طيب, go to the basics. So tawaf, you start with Al-Hajar Al-Aswad, but your guide is going to explain to you. I'm trying to focus on the general frame to give you a good understanding. And then all these nitty-gritty details, by the way, everyone is going to do them. You can't miss them. But anyway, you start your tawaf at the right by Al-Hajar Al-Aswad, where at the extension of Al-Hajar Al-Aswad, same that line. That's where you start. You go a full round. You have to have wudu, because tawaf is like salah. You have to have wudu. So you go a full round, that's number 1. Every time you come by Al-Hajar Al-Aswad, and you're not going to be close to it, by the way, you're going to be, might be too far. All you need to do is just point to it with your hand, say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. If you can touch it, perfect, but most of the time you can't. And then, so I'm not going to mention, there's another corner you should touch, but you can't touch it, all this traffic, so forget about it. You're just going to make tawaf. In this tawaf, recite Quran, make dua, remember Allah, say La ilaha illallah, subhanallah, ask Allah for whatever you want. And you can learn the adhkar of the Prophet ﷺ, which you're going to have in a booklet, and mix some of the adhkar of the Prophet ﷺ and some of your own personal dua. Can I make dua in my language? Yes. You can make dua in your language, and if it comes from your heart and you feel it more, actually make in your own language, no problem. So you make this tawaf 7 times. What happens if I break my wudu during my tawaf? Let's say I made 4 full rounds and started my 5th. In the middle of the 5th round, I lose my wudu. What should I do? You should go and make wudu. And I hope you don't lose your wudu, because I'm telling you, just going to make wudu and coming back might take you 1 to 2 hours. But there are tricks around it. They're not like formal, but these are things you can do. You can have a bottle of water with you. So make wudu so quickly, especially you need to learn how to make wudu with little amounts of water. So take to the side, make wudu without getting the place dirty. Some people can do it and learn to do it, it's good. You can actually make wudu with a small glass of water. You can still do it. Learn how to do this so you don't have to leave and go to the washrooms. Because going to the washrooms, I'm telling you, is a nightmare. It could take you literally 2 to 3 hours going to the washroom, making wudu and coming back. So get all the preparations. You don't need to use a washroom, because they're outside the masjid, and when you go there, you're going to stand up in a line that's worse than any line you've ever seen here in Canada. Some lines have 50, 60 people, and imagine this person is just using the washroom, can use it for some time, then wait 50, 60 people, that means even the wudu could be actually the same. So well, if you can go back to the hotel, it's just, all your options are really, they're not optimal. So the best thing is make sure you won't need the washroom. And if you just happen to lose your wudu, have a bottle of water with you, take to the side of where the mataf area is, and make wudu so quickly in any corner, and carry on your wudu. So when you have made 4 rounds of tawaf, and you're in the 5th, in the middle of the 5th, you lost your wudu. Take to the side, make your wudu, and you need to go back to Al-Hajar Al-Aswad. Practically speaking, don't go against traffic. Carry on that round you had, which doesn't count, just for you to get back to Al-Hajar Al-Aswad. Don't go against traffic. People die in this, by the way. And you might not die yourself, but you might cause someone else to really be jammed and crushed. So don't do this. Go with the traffic until you get again to Al-Hajar Al-Aswad, then start the 5th all over again. Make sense? Okay, that's how you do it. The same with as-sa'i. The same with as-sa'i between as-safa and marwa. Same thing. That's the strongest opinion. Okay. Now you have made, you guys are making tamattu', you made tawaf and you made sa'i. Now you finished your umrah. That's special about tamattu'. I'm done my umrah, I can take a break, I get out of the state of ihram. I put my ihram on pause. So what I do, I trim my hair. As we said, a woman as well trims part of her hair. So I get out of my state of ihram, so I can eat, drink, husband can approach his wife, no problem during this time, because I'll go back to normal. I'm out of the state of ihram, there's no conditions upon me, so I engage in it. Usually people from here go early, so let's say you go, maybe you arrive there the 2nd day of the Hijjah. Okay, you are there, you made your umrah, now you have about 6 days. You're okay, you can go to the shops, you can pray in the masjid as if you live in Mecca, a resident of Mecca, and you enjoy yourself, do whatever you want, do shopping, eat whatever you want, enjoy yourself, etc. But my advice is to try to pray at the haram as much as possible, so you get the rewards of praying in the masjid al-haram. Now when the 8th, the day of the 8th of the Hijjah comes about, a question here? Yes.
Can I go out and come back and make another umrah, or?
No, don't do this. Don't do another umrah. Don't do another umrah. Okay? I mean, some people say you can, but my advice, don't do that. Don't engage in this. And I'm telling you, you might be counting umrahs, but you will be missing out a lot on, a lot of reward and a lot of focus, because it is, the days of Hajj, it's so crazy. I'm telling you, so crazy to move from one place to the other. So just walking from your hotel to the haram is going to consume your energy. So imagine getting out of Mecca to the outskirts of Mecca to where that Masjid Aisha is, which is Tan'im, I would say recommend you don't do this. Really don't do this. And you're gonna haggle with taxi drivers because the fares are crazy. They're gonna ask you for lots of money, and people unfortunately abuse that season. So what I would say, don't engage in Umrah. You wanna stop? طيب. حكم القوي على الضعيف. تفضل. Yes.
When you were praying to Maqam Ibrahim,
Yeah.
you said
You don't have to. The whole thing is recommended, so there's no have to.
Maqam Ibrahim is also like sunnah or not sunnah or not?
It's sunnah to pray 2 rak'ah. It's preferable to pray them behind Maqam Ibrahim. But I mean, most likely you won't be able to get it done.
No, like whether actually say that
Maqam Ibrahim musalla. You don't have to. Don't use the word have to. Don't get in panic mode. If you don't pray these 2 rak'ah, if you don't see Maqam Ibrahim at all, your Hajj is complete. Hajj is good, is acceptable. No. It's recommended, yes. I mean, but these are extra details. If you were to talk about everything, I'm telling you, we might need 4 lectures. But this will add confusion to you. These things you will figure them out. You have the guide there. When things come at a time, they make sense. But if you try to learn them all ahead of time, I'm telling you, it's like, what is what, which is which, what am I going to do with that? It's so confusing, so many details.
So I read in some books that you can out and pray behind the automatic practice. You have to build the water, some of them, take it on the water.
No problem. After you finish, that's the problem. Worrying about things that are completely recommended and there's no big deal. Drinking Zamzam is tawaf. Okay, so after tawaf, basically, when you pray your two sunnah, because after tawaf you're going to pray your two sunnah. Okay, it's recommended to drink what's called hatta yatadalla, Arabic language, until you fill your. Okay, but practically speaking, you fill your stomach, sa'i is going to take you 3-4 times during sa'i. Yeah, I got stuck there a few times. Find out yourself. I thought the same, but I ended up spending that day in the washroom. It's water. It's water. Okay, so we're done with the Umrah. We broke from our Ihram, and we're chilling at the hotel and going to praying and enjoying the Salah and everything. The 8th day of the Hijjah comes about. Now they will let you know we're going to head to Mina. We're going to go to our camp in Mina. Mina is where the Jamarat is, where you throw the Jamarat. It's a very wide, big area. There's a lot of camps, etc. There are some hotel apartments, etc. And this is where the bridges are, where throwing the stones is. Yes, we're going to get there. We're just talking now. So they'll tell you, get ready, because we're going to move to Mina. So what do you do from your hotel room? Okay, same thing. You go back into a state of ihram. No, you don't know. Your miqat now is your room, your stay in Mecca, your accommodation in Mecca. So basically into the state of ihram. Again, you want to say labbaik Allahumma hajjan. You can say that, labbaik Allahumma hajjan. Now before that, take a shower, wash your ihram, get everything ready, just like the first time. And then from your room, labbaik Allahumma hajjan, they tell you the buses are downstairs, you guys get ready, you have half an hour, you have an hour. Yeah, but there's nothing to do on the 8th, okay? They actually get you the 8th for the night after, because it's the sunnah to spend the night in Mina, the night before Arafah. So I'm going to use the Arabic system, old Arabic system, the night comes before the day, guys, okay? There's no specific time. You wear it before you leave your accommodation to Mina. Before you set out to Mina, that's you wear it. You want to do that at Fajr, they got you too early. They want to do that at Dhuhr, which most of the groups start moving actually at Dhuhr time. So just before you leave your room, okay, they tell you we're heading to Mina. From your accommodation, you put your ihram back again, you get back into the state of ihram, okay? For some people, they don't even go to Mina that night, by the way. Some people don't go to Mina that night. They go to Arafah the following day. They skip this. It's a sunnah. So these people, when do they put their ihram? Just before they go to Arafah. Okay? So there's no specific time to put your ihram. The only point there is when you leave your room heading to Mina or heading to Arafah. Because now you have to get back into your state of ihram. So you go to Mina on the 8th, and the reason why you go on the 8th, to spend the night, which is in the 9th, which is before Arafah, to spend it in Mina. Spend that night in Mina. It's a sunnah. He says it's sunnah, one of the sunnah al-Hajj. Actually, you know what? Yeah. The Hajj actually go on the 7th. Some groups go on the 7th. Some of them go on the 7th, yes. So the Hajj, you go on 7th and you spend the day in Mina. You spend the whole day in Mina. Okay, you spend the whole day in Mina and you spend the night. And you spend the night there. Then people start going to Arafah. Now dealing with different Hajjaj, by the way, we're saying this is an ideal Hajj. But what happens practically is something different. Something different. So sometimes depending on the arrangement of your group, where does it fall according to the arrangement of the authorities there? Some of you will be able to go on the 7th to spend the night and the day there, which is the 8th day, which is called Yawm al-Tarwiyah. Spend it all in Mina. Some groups will just go Dhuhr time to Mina on the 8th day, and I think most of the groups that's what they do. And some people skip it altogether. But ideally, you should go on the 7th day. Go on the 7th day, and on that day you put your ihram. Whenever you, as we said, whenever you leave your hotel room, that's where you put your ihram, and you get back into the state of ihram, and you go and you spend the 8th day in Mina. So, yeah. So the best thing is to go on the 7th, spend the night there, spend the day of the 8th day, okay, and spend all the other night as well, which is the night before Arafah, the 9th, pray Fajr, and then leave to Arafah. Is it clear now? Is it clear now? So this is ideally speaking. As I said, practically with the experience of Hajj, this most of the time this doesn't happen. Now the 9th day. You leave the 9th day. Ideally, you leave Mina after praying Fajr. You leave and you start moving to Arafah. Start moving to Arafah. Arafah is an open plain of land. We all know it. And there is a small mountain there called Jabal al-Rahmah. It's actually called Jabal Arafah, not Jabal al-Rahmah. It's called Jabal Arafah, but later on it became called Jabal al-Rahmah. It has no merits. That small mountain has no merits. Arafah is all that space. Okay? And that's where you are supposed to spend the day there. And it starts from, as we said, Dhuhr time till sunset. Till sunset. So, if you leave before sunset, you have violated an obligation, and thus you have to give hadi, dam. You will hear this word there, dam, alayk dam. Upon you there is dam, there is blood. Basically, slaughter a sheep. So you spend the day in Arafah. What do you do in Arafah? By the way, for some groups, I'm not sure with all of you how it goes. With some groups, they go to Arafah before the 9th. They go the night before. Okay? The night before. Why? Just for arrangements. No problem. No problem. You go there. The most important thing is that you spend the day in Arafah from Dhuhr till Maghrib. What do you do there? Do dhikr, recite Quran, make dua, acts of worship. And by the way, Arafah is, as the Prophet said, Al-Hajj Arafah. Really, the essence of Hajj is Arafah. And you will feel it there. It's a very special day. It's a very special day. And now, the feeling that you get on Arafah is unforgettable. It is something special. Something special. Okay, so this is something to really look forward to on the day of Arafah. So when the sun sets at Arafah, people start leaving Arafah to Muzdalifah. We said Arafah is here, Muzdalifah is here, Mina is here. So they start leaving Arafah to Muzdalifah. So Muzdalifah, ideally, you should leave Arafah early, right after sunset. You start moving. You will reach Muzdalifah, ideally, Maghrib time. You pray Maghrib and Isha. Combine them together. You combine them together. And but most of the time you won't arrive that early. You'll arrive at time of Isha, so you just pray and spend the night there. Ideally, spend the night there. Again, some groups or most of the groups don't spend the night, all of the night there. They stay there for an hour, couple of hours, 3 hours, depending. Some people try to stay until midnight. Then they leave to Mina. But ideally, you should stay in Muzdalifah, spend the night there till you pray Fajr in Muzdalifah, okay, and there you mention Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You mention the name of Allah and you increase in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You pray Fajr, you wait till sunrise. After sunrise, you start heading to Mina. Start heading to Mina. Now this time might change from, as I said, from group to group based on the traffic, etc. So your guide inshallah there will let you know how to deal with this. Now in Muzdalifah, after you pray Maghrib and Isha, the sunnah is for you to collect the pebbles for the first Jamrah from Muzdalifah. 7 small stones. You collect them from Muzdalifah ideally, and I think they bring a lot of stuff there for people to collect from. So you take it with you, so when you head to Mina, you have your stones. When you head to Mina, sometimes they might take you to the camp to put your stuff, but most likely they're going to take you straight to Jamrat al-Aqaba al-Kubra. And this is the one that is the furthest from Arafah and the closest to Mecca. It's the end one. You're going to throw these 7 stones, and you're going to leave the other 2, the first 2, today. Okay, and now don't forget, now this morning is what? Eid. In Mecca they will be praying Eid. And you prayed your Fajr most likely in Muzdalifah, or you reached Mina. So during the day of this, which is the 10th day, the day of Eid, you go and throw this Al-Jamar Al-Kubra. It's one of them. You're going to leave the other 2. There are 3 Jamarat, right? There's Al-Kubra, the biggest, closest to Mecca, furthest from Arafah. Arafah is on this side, Mecca on this side, is on this side. You throw the first Al-Kubra, and there's Al-Wusta, and there's Al-Sughra. You're going to skip the other 2, and the first day go to the Kubra. And they will actually guide the traffic to it anyway, so don't worry, the traffic is guided there. So you're going to throw it 7 pebbles, and so after you throw these pebbles, you break your ihram. Let me just make sure. One second, yeah. Honestly, exactly, I don't want to mix things. Because you know Hajj, when you don't do it for a while, you really forget what's going on. Yes, so once you throw this Jamra al-Kubra, now you can break from your ihram. You can shave your hair, and it's recommended to shave here. You shave your hair, and you can take off your ihram and wear something else. You can wear something else. But there's one of the prohibitions in ihram still valid until now, which is sexual intimacy. Sexual intimacy is still prohibited. Still prohibited. Okay, now after this, you break from your state of ihram after you've thrown the first Jamrah of Al-Aqaba Al-Kubra, and you broke from your state of ihram. Now is the time to make Tawaf Al-Ifada. You go and make Tawaf Al-Ifada. This is when it starts. Now you can't do it now, or for some complications you didn't get the time. You can do it during any of the days of Eid, which is the first day, second and third and the fourth. You can do it during, but I would say don't leave it till the fourth, because it might get really big, because people start leaving and they make it tawaf, the farewell tawaf, it's going to be difficult. So the best thing is really after you throw the Jamrah Al-Aqaba Al-Kubra, you break from your ihram, you shave your hair, go straight to the haram and make the tawaf. Most of the time actually will be quite easy. It's not very jammed. There will be a lot of space at this time, because most of the people have not made it to Mecca yet. Most people, especially alhamdulillah, I believe with Canadian pilgrims, is actually they get a good advantage. Mainly pilgrims from the US and Canada, they get a lot of privileges, by the way. So you're good inshallah. Yeah.
Any specific time when you go, finish the farm, move off the father, any specific time inshallah?
Most people do it just before Dhuhr. Yeah, because I mean, if you arrive early, you're gonna do it even probably at 9 o'clock. You might be able to do it at 9 o'clock or maybe 10 o'clock. Yeah, you go with your clothes, normal clothes. Yeah.
When usually you shave your hair, you get a bath. Usually when you shave your hair, you take a shower.
That's for cleanliness. You want to take shower, fine.
For this you shave your hair, change your ihram,
Yes, when you get out of the state of ihram, you shave your hair, change your clothes. By the way, if you couldn't change your clothes, no problem. Go make tawaf al-ifada with your ihram, no problem. Now it's just like any clothes, even though it's 2 towels, but you don't have to. You don't have to take it off, okay?
Your shoulder has to be covered this time.
Yeah, this time your shoulder, uncovering your shoulder is only in the first one. Is only in the first one, okay? Okay, so yeah, so that's it basically for the day of Eid, which is the 10th day. That's it really. On the 11th day, obviously you're going to go back to Mina and spend the night there in Mina. So it's there's not much to be done. You only prepare for throwing the jamarat on the 11th day, the following day. You throw the jamarat, okay? We're still on the 10th.
Usually when you throw at the small and medium.
No, we're going to come to we're still now on the 10th, okay? The 10th, on the 10th, you threw only one, which is Jamrat al-Aqaba al-Kubra, okay? You say, okay, you make Allahu Akbar, by the way, sorry, you make Allahu Akbar with each one. So Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, okay? No, with this Jamara, there's no dua. This Jamara, there's no dua.
And when you collect pebbles, 7 pebbles, whether we should collect all 70 pebbles from Muzdalifah or only
No, only the first one you collect it from Muzdalifah. The others, you collect them from Mina, wherever they are. Now, there is something. Okay, that's the 10th day. Do we have any questions before we move on? So you spend the night in Mina. As I said, with Canadians, alhamdulillah, it's okay. You have your camps in Mina, so it's not a big deal. You're sleeping there, because some groups, they don't have their camps in Mina, so what they do, they're staying in other areas, Aziziyah, other like outskirts in Mecca, and they have to come, and it's really very inconvenient because there's no place for them to stay, and they start being pushed away by police, etc., because they don't want, traffic jams, and because it's extremely serious there. So they bring them to stay a couple of hours, spend a couple of hours in Mina, and then they throw, and so on and so forth. So now it's done with the 10th day. Then you went back to, which is the day of Eid. You went and slept in your camp. It's the day of the 11th. So what do you do? What do you have to do on the day of the 11th? So what you do in the 11th day is that you throw the 3 jamarat. The 3 jamarat. Now, how is the traffic? Don't worry, the traffic is guided and you can't go wrong. Because they've made it like all traffic goes in one direction, there's no way you can go against traffic. Because all the really like sad accidents that happened in the past was because traffic was two-way. But they streamlined the traffic, it goes one way, it's all on a bridge now, bridges, different levels, and you just go one way, you throw your jamarat, and you come off the bridge on the other side, and that's it. Traffic is only one way there. So what you do, the what? The udhiyah, they will do it for you. So you don't worry about it. You remove it any time because khalas. Because you can't know when they're gonna slaughter yours. So if you ask the scholars there, they will say khalas. Once you have done your first jamara of al-kubra, khalas, you shave your head and that's it. No, don't wait. I personally haven't seen that time. But if there is a time, then you might want to wait for that time. But that's just going to make it difficult for you, yeah. But if there's a specific time, they tell you this is why it is, which I'm not sure. Are you sure this is the case? Anyone?
I heard the scientists that the agents say that they can get confirmation from the.
Okay, I doubt this is accurate. Because you know what? It's 4 million people. 4 4 million people. How do I know which is which?
How they can do in one first level.
No, since you have given it to them, خلاص, there's no way you can know. So if you ask the scholars, like if there is no time, specific time, I'm not sure if there is a specific time on the token, but if there is, I would say, I remember asking the scholars there, because we trust their fatwa more than anyone else, because it's about practicality as well. And they would say, once you're done yours, you're throwing the jamara, you break your ihram, no big deal, inshallah. No big deal. So on the 11th and the 12th and the 13th, okay, you're supposed to throw the jamarat, and this time you throw all 3 of them. So you need 21 pebbles each day. You start with the al-sughra, the smallest one, which is the closest to the camps. Okay, that's where the traffic is going to go first. You throw this one first, 7, Allahu Akbar. Okay, then you move on to al-wusta, the middle one. You throw 7, then you go to al-kubra, and you throw 7. Now there's a time for dua here. After the middle one and the third one, you can stand and make dua. This is what it says here. This is one it says. Okay, the first one, yes. First one and second one, and leave the kubra. You're right, yes. So the first one, which is the sughra, the minor, and the middle one, after you make it, turn to al-Kaaba, and you can see actually where the direction of the Qibla, and make dua there. Make dua there. After the second one, yes, and the third one, skip it. Jazakallah khair. You do this 11th, 12th, and 13th. You can skip the 13th with the condition. You leave Mecca on the 12th before Maghrib. You leave Mecca on the 12th before Maghrib. Don't forget, before you leave Mecca, you make tawaf al-wada'. You make tawaf al-wada', the farewell tawaf. The farewell tawaf. Questions? Yeah.
So obviously this is not the way. But first thing, if somebody does it, will first be perfect for him, or he has to be
No, if someone does it, just you don't have any energy to worry about anyone else there. So just do your Hajj and come back safe. Yeah. Yes. I'm telling you, don't try to be too nice. It's really, it's going to test you. It's going to seriously test you. So it takes a lot. So maintain your energy. Yeah.
From the group Perfume, we're going to have our hotels in Makkah as well. So
For Mina, you're not staying in Mina?
we're staying in Mina. but,
You have camps?
Yeah, we have camps and we have hotels as well.
Okay.
That is, so what they suggest is after the first Jama'ah, we can go back to our hotel, change, shower over there,
That's on the day of Eid, which is the 10th, right? Okay.
and then come back during midnight and do the second Jama'ah at midnight, and then come back to our camp and stay there. So that would be for the 11th,
For this, okay.
and then we do it on the 12th. So go to Mina.
Again after midnight.
Come to hotel, and that's it, because we're not staying for 30. So is that okay?
So you're gonna throw 3 times,
We're going to
apart from the day of Eid. You're gonna throw 2 and leave early. Do you have the option to stay in Mina at night? You don't.
for the last day.
For the 11th,
For the 13th, we don't have. 11th, we have.
you can stay in Mina. Stay in Mina. because there is a dispute among the scholars. I don't want to bring this issue up because it might be confusing, but yes, like, okay, you have to throw on the 11th day, the 12th and the 13th, right? So have these 3 days. Now I know some scholars are of the opinion, yes, after midnight, like let's say today is the 10th, now night comes, after midnight you can throw for the 11th. So basically 12:01 a.m. on the 11th for them is the new day, so you actually you can throw. But actually a lot of the scholars are of the opinion that the day starts with sunrise. So there's a risk there. So my advice, if you have the choice, that you stay in Mina in the camps and you throw your jamarat of 11th on the day of 11th during the day, okay, basically after sunrise. That's the safest way to do it. But if you are with a group that doesn't give you the choice to stay in Mina, but no, the hotels are in Mecca and we're just going to bring you on a bus to Mina, and you throw after midnight, so they basically cut costs and they consider after midnight is another day. Now there are groups that actually go like on the 11th, they don't throw on the 11th, they wait till night. They wait till night on the 11th. They live the whole 11th, they go before midnight, they throw, we say we throw for the 11th, they stay there for half an hour until it's past midnight, they're going to throw for the next day. That's a show, right? But there are groups who do this, they cut a lot of cost. But this is absolutely not recommended. Like one group I went with, that's what they did, and we had like people had a big fight and like issues, and they said no, it's right. So there's a helpline. There's mashallah, like in Saudi, they really put a good team of scholars behind on these helplines. They called the helpline. They said, no guys, you have to do your throwing of the jamarat again. That doesn't count. This is a joke. So if you can stay in Mina and throw the jamarat on their time during the daytime, that's what you should do. That's what you should do. But if you are with a group that squeezes these things and tells you come, let's go throw after midnight, I don't know, for me what we did, I threw like before midnight for the 11th, and for the 12th I didn't throw with them another time after midnight, but I took it on myself. I walked from my hotel back to Mina the following day, when for them they were supposed to be resting. I walked with another group of people who were really concerned to apply it well. We walked to Mina, we threw the jamarat, and I had like my mom with me, and I did it on her behalf, and I came back. So don't risk it. Don't risk it to depend on this after midnight. It's like for the following day. It's disputable, so you want to get out of doubt there, inshallah. Especially you have the option, stay in Mina, because you need to spend the night in Mina. You're going to lose that as well.
It's not to go Jamara after Jawal, like after 12
After Zawal, yes. I think it's better after. Till Zawal. Till Zawal, yes. Yes, you throw. This is ideally, but because of the traffic, now the scholars, if you ask them there, they say no, after sunrise you can start throwing. Yeah, it's they need to manage this huge volume of people. Yeah, when you go in the morning, it's just a recommended thing. It's just a recommended thing, yeah, to do it after Zawal, because that's the time of the Prophet ﷺ did, yes. But the recommendation, the instruction is to do it during the 11th, during the day. Any questions? Okay. Now, there are two options. You either spend the 11th, 12th, and 13th there, and you throw 3 jamarats each day, so 3 days. Or you want to leave early on the 12th, you only throw jamarat 2 days, and you skip the 3rd. But as we said, you have to leave on the 12th before Maghrib. And don't forget, you have to make tawaf al-wada' before you leave, because it's wajib. Tawaf al-wada' is wajib. If you miss it, you have hadi. on you, dam.
But we're going back to Makkah and we stay maybe 2 days there.
Okay, you're staying in Mecca, then you have to do 3 days. Throw the 3 days. If you leave Mecca, which is the Haram area, on the 12th before Maghrib, then you do 2 days, 11th and 12th, and you make tawaf before you leave, and you leave. You don't have to do the 3rd day. But if you stay in Mecca till Maghrib on the 12th, then you have to do the 3rd day.
Is it not in Mina you stay, then you have to do the 3rd day?
Yeah, basically.
Mina too, you go back to Makkah and stay 5 days. Still you have to do the 3rd day.
Yeah. As long as you are in Mecca.
Mina.
No. Mecca and Mina now are like one area. This is the Haram area. As long as you are within the Haram area, on the 13th, even like Maghrib, the night, which seems the night before, you still have to do the 13th.
That one says that we will leave Mina on,
Regardless, if you're in Mecca, you have to throw the Jamara.
but we will stay 1 or 2 days in Makkah, then we will leave Makkah.
Khalas, if they don't offer you the transportation, do it yourself. I would say walk. It's half an hour walk, maximum an hour if there's traffic. Huh? I didn't catch it. Oh yeah, last thing you do before you leave Mecca, Tawaf al-Wada. Get everything ready, okay, and go make Tawaf al-Wada, take your luggage, check out and leave. Yes, that's the last thing you should do is Tawaf al-Wada, farewell Tawaf. Yeah.
Staying in Mina for 11th night and 12th, is it wajib or sunnah or 13th
Staying in Mina.
the night?
Oh, in the night, which is the 11th and the 12th. According to like the majority of the scholars, it's wajib. The Hanafi madhab considers it to be sunnah. So those who say you don't have to stay, a lot of them do it for cutting costs, but they use the Hanafi madhab as an excuse.
So is it 11th, 12th and 13th or just 11th?
It's Ayyam al-Tashriq, the 3 of them. Yeah. Which is the night before the 13th, don't forget. It's the night before, yeah. No fasting unless you have hadi on you. You have hadi on you and you can't pay it. So you fast 3 days during Hajj and 7 when you come back. Oh, no. The fasting is for the people who didn't go for Hajj. Yeah.
Those who are also intended for Udiyah.
Huh?
Udiyah, Qurbani.
Udhiyah is not on you. Udhiyah is on people who don't go for Hajj. You have hadi. Since you're making tamattu, you have hadi on you.
But I can't do it like also for myself. I don't need to. Because I'm going for Hajj. Or
The udhiyah is for the household. So you have your family here, it has to be done. You want to do it there for them, udhiyah, do it.
like it will be there.
Yeah.
Whether that can be implied to me or I
Yeah.
have to.
No, you don't have to make anything separate. Forget. You're making udhiyah for the household, right? Khalas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under my name?
Don't make it hard.
My wife's name.
Huh?
Because if I intend, then I can't cut my nails or.
It's not so specific about your name or your wife's name. It's you're making an udhiyah, right? You don't say this is udhiyah for me. Khalas, it's udhiyah. It's understood.
But if it is for my household, then the first 10 days I can't cut my.
No, it doesn't apply to you.
That won't apply to me.
No. Don't make it hard for yourself. Take it easy. You're exempt from udhiyah anyway for you, but because your household is here, khalas, make it for your household. Yeah. Questions, sisters? Yeah. The qurbani which in Hajj? Here, okay. By the way, with Qurbani, there's no lists. There is no specific person's name it's going under. It's udhiyah. We make udhiyah for our household. That's it. Now your parents, may Allah have mercy upon them, they're gone. Khalas. There's no udhiyah on them. Udhiyah is on the living humans. Khalas. Everyone is gone now. The other ones have gone. Khalas. They have their lifetime. So we don't make udhiyah for the dead people. We don't include them in it. But like when someone does something good, automatically the reward goes to their parents without us having to go through all of these things. Yeah. وإياكم. You have to do the hadi. Okay. Anywhere else, as long as the udhiyah is done, alhamdulillah. Yeah. If you're capable, yes. Udhiyah is for the household. Yeah. You can do it here, you can do it in Mecca, someone can do it for you in New Zealand. Yeah. Yeah. Even in Honolulu. No, because the most unexpected place. The most unexpected place. Yeah. Right. Any more questions? Now the details, like what am I going to say here, now leave it these for the notebooks that you have, guys. It comes in handy. Yes, I mean, this is why I didn't mention all of these, because your guide is going to show you how to do all of these. So you're going to pray qasr, yes. Of course you're musafir. But even if you're not musafir, the people of Mecca who are making Hajj, they're not musafir, but they make qasr. They shorten the salah. Because these are part of Hajj. For a musafir to have 2 sacrifice animals? In what sense?
I'm asking that, as I heard, that if you're musafir, you don't need to...
No, there's nothing related to traveling with hadi or with sacrifice. No, there's nothing at all. Sisters, questions? Nothing?
Question for Matt Zamzam. Once you done it,
Yeah.
Matt Zamzam and make dua.
Yeah.
Is that the first time you make dua or before you would be in Makkah?
After any tawaf, you drink Zamzam and make dua. Specifically the first one. Okay? Specifically the first one. But as I said, be wise. Be wise. Because you can drink so much Zamzam, it's you're going to use the washroom. You want to find out the hard way, go ahead. So, and be careful.
But anytime you drink Matt Zamzam,
Make dua. Yes. Prophet ﷺ says, ماء زمزم لما شرب له. ماء Zamzam, okay, is for the intention that you drink it for. So if you have an intention and you drink Zamzam, most likely that would be answered. Whatever you want. Yeah. I think now they put a system where you can't bring more. Yeah, they put a system where you can't bring more. I'm telling you. And I think at the airport they're going to take it away from you.
But if you have one luggage, you can make another luggage, or you can put inside your luggage.
I'm not sure because last year they changed the system. Last year Saudi changed the system because many people are using Zamzam, they're selling it. So I think they made for every Hajji one specifically, and they put a system together at the airport and at border points. They actually check. So they put a system. I'm not sure how accurate it is, but maybe you can take more. Some people seem to be taking more, but
They allow one extra luggage as a...
you have to find out. I don't know about these technicalities. If you can use that extra luggage for Zamzam water, is that going to be the case? You have to find out. I don't know, because that changes every year. It changes.
What is the etiquette of making dua at Arafah? What is this rule? How we should make dua and what...
You're going to have a long day,
Yeah.
so use a variety, I would say. Sometimes be seated. sometimes stand up, sometimes be away by yourself. It's not going to be away so much, but at least you can take a corner when you can turn to Allah. But I'm telling you, you can't miss the beautiful spirit of Arafah. You just can't. It's something special about that day.
We go out of the tent and goes at
I don't think you'll be able to leave that tent, and it's quite risky. You might actually lose your way, not be able to come back. So it's a tent. It's more like most tents are inclusive or all inclusive. So you have a place where you can sit, seats, and you have more like a yard where you can actually, they have seats and chairs and tables, and you can sit there, and they have washrooms and water, etc. You will have enough space. You won't need to leave, because if you leave, there's a lot of people who really can't find their way back, because it all looks the same, and it's really hard to navigate. The Prophet raised his hands, like there's no specific. Sometimes when he increased in dua, he raised his hands so high that his armpits were showing, so that shows his sleeves fell. So if his sleeves fell all the way here, obviously he was raising his hands up, right? Something like this. But generally speaking, the Prophet would raise his hands. Is there any specific? Up to his chest, up to his mouth, head? There's no specification. So just, whatever comes up with you, do it. Like listen, if you leave a hole, your dua is going to fall through the hole and it's not going to be accepted. There are people who think this way, really. So stick them together. Come on, man. Like, make your fingers tight, because if there are holes, some of it's going to slip. Don't do this. Yeah, don't do that. Don't get yourself into these details. Like with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you can't go wrong just because how you put your hands. Especially that there's nothing specific from the Prophet ﷺ as to where do you put my thumbs? Should it be here or here? Now you do this, you have no focus. Yeah, you lose the spirit of it. Any more questions? There's a question here. What about women who wear niqab? I think we answered this. Is it necessary nowadays, even in ihram? Well, it depends. If you hold on to the opinion that you have to cover your face, there is a solution that they came up with. These sort of caps. There's a cap. There's only this. The canopy part of the cap, right? So it's not a cap. It's just a frame, and they have this sort of canopy here. So women, what they do in order not to cover their face and they have their scarf, and when there are men, so they just put it up, and it's not right on their face. So sisters are gonna see it there probably. So if you're someone who takes the opinion that it's obligatory to cover the face, then this is something you can use. But if you don't cover your face, it's not, anyway, you don't need to deal with this issue in the first place. Any more questions, sisters? Yeah. With what? Alhamdulillah. MashaAllah. Well, yes, the sister done her first Hajj, her mother done her first Hajj, her mother passed away, may Allah have mercy upon her. The question, now she wants to do Hajj again, shall she do it for her mother? Now the scholars have differed about this. They said what you can make for your mother or your father as a Hajj is the obligatory one, because it's a must, and it's one of the pillars of Islam. But an extra one, and this is the opinion I subscribe to, I find it the strongest. Some others say you can do it, but what I personally recommend is do another Hajj for yourself, and automatically the reward goes to your mom. Automatically it goes to your mom. Yeah. وإياكم. طيب, questions here?
Quran said that when you go to Muzdalifah, remember Allah said that remember.
Yeah. فاذكروا الله عند المشعر الحرام واذكروه كما هداكم.
And how to
Muzdalifah, as we said, when you leave Arafah, okay, after sunset, you're going to go to Muzdalifah trying to pray Maghrib and Isha, combining them at the time of Maghrib, if you make it there at that time. If you make it at Isha time, you pray them at Isha time. You try to spend the night there, sleep until midnight if you can. But as I said, people usually going to spend there till midnight, a couple of hours, then they will leave, head back to Mina. But ideally if you can stay there till Fajr, pray Fajr, stay until sunrise, then after sunrise you go to Mina. So فَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ عِنْدَ الْمَشْعَرِ الْحَرَامِ. When you reach that Muzdalifah, in Muzdalifah there is an area called al-Mash'ar al-Haram. And people of Quraysh used to mention their forefathers there, feel proud about themselves. So Allah mentioned to the Muslims, mention Allah there, glorify Allah. فَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ فاذكروا الله عند المشعر الحرام واذكروه كما هداكم وإن كنتم من قبله لمن الضالين. So remember the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He guided you. So it's just increasing in mentioning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's it. So there is something special about this place in that sense. Yeah. Yes. La ilaha illallah more. Fadhkurullah primarily, first and foremost, means La ilaha illallah more. And obviously it means the other dhikr, but this is the primary with La ilaha, with Fadhkurullah. Yeah. Yeah.
And in Arafah, they said that La ilaha illallah wa la sharika lahu
This and others. I don't remember this has a special thing in Arafah. At this moment I don't remember. But yeah, I mean a lot of the booklets as well are quite helpful, mashallah. The ones in English are very good, mashallah. Yeah. So keep that on you, and I think they also, you can even, they have this, yeah, straps, you can hang it, so that's actually helpful.
So that fear Allah after you perform the way you fear your forefather or
No, فاذكروا الله كذكركم آباءكم أو أشد ذكرا. So mention Allah as you used to mention your forefathers previously at the times of Jahiliyyah. So that's what we mentioned previously.
and after finishing the Hajj, how we should,
After what?
after finishing everything, what would be our
Buy me a gift. Don't forget. Huh?
That's important.
Yeah. There's like a oud that costs $2,000, the small tula. I'm just kidding. I don't even wear it, like that stuff. I'm just kidding. Anything like, I don't know what you're asking for.
how our life should be after completing the Hajj.
You should live as a Muslim. There's nothing special. But obviously, the Hajj has an impact on you. The Hajj has an impact on you. Is there anything specific? No, what Islam tells you.
And except that Hajj is like, what is Hajj Mabrur?
Mabrur. Hajjun Mabrur is the one where there's, as we said, you don't use foul language, you don't use anything bad, and you don't engage in sexual intimacy.
Like people say that how you know that your Hajj is accepted.
You can never know for sure, but a sign that a Hajj was accepted is basically Allah. You find yourself doing more righteous deeds. You find that you have moved on your journey with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But don't take that technically, it happens. Okay? It's a journey. It's a very, you're gonna feel it. Don't get ahead of yourself. Let it be. Don't try to engineer it from now. Let it be, you will feel it. Oftentimes, there's something sometimes, and this Ibn al-Qayyim calls this adab al-ibadah. Sometimes we approach, the Prophet ﷺ says, إِذَا جَاءَ أَحَدُكُمْ إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ فَلْيَأْتِي عَلَى مَهْلٍ وَعَلَيْهِ الْوَقَارِ. When someone comes to the salah, let them come with tranquility and peace. So when you approach your ibadah, you don't approach it like a greedy person who wants to eat this kind of, type of food. Some people approach ibadah in this frantic way and they kill its blessings. Don't frantically go about your ibadah. It's about you connecting to Allah. You learn it well, you perform it as the Prophet ﷺ recommended, and see what it gives you. But don't try to figure it out before you go through it. It happens to you. It's a state of being. Okay? So with worship, generally speaking, especially with Hajj, don't go like, it's like someone who's never seen food in their life and they just jump right into it and they start eating left and right and messing up the whole thing. With ibadah, you need this ta'addub with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this peace and respect and awe with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So don't worry about it. It will come about. You're going to feel it. Just make sure you do things as prescribed, and then you put your heart in everything. And don't frantically worry about these small things. Oh, this hair came off, or this thing, wasn't right. Or if you get so much engaged in these details, I'm telling you, it's going to take away the ibadah from you. Okay? So how am I supposed to feel? How am I supposed to happen to me? Okay? You will get there and you will see for yourself. But allow it to happen. If you're too tense about it, you're not going to feel it. You're going to miss out on this experience. I mean, in the haram, try to avoid anything. And alhamdulillah, most of the time you're not going to find like scorpions or snakes. Well, yeah, most of the time there's no mosquitoes. Just avoid them. If they bother you at sleep, if they get in your room, yeah, kill them by all means. Kill them by all means. Like, pull your sword and start, slaying them. If they annoy you, if they don't annoy you, ignore them. Any more questions?
Yeah, question here.
Abu.
Usually, people when they go to Hajj or Makkah, Medina, whatever, they have, especially people who left North America or Europe, they have this mentality of, everything's going to be dandy, everything's going to be under, everything. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لا رفث ولا فسوق ولا جدال في الحج, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala he built this ayah 1,500 years ago, and he knew we're going to have this place and everything.
Yeah.
But still the people when they go there, still their mentality is I come from America and I live A, B, C, D.
Yeah. Jazakallah khair. We spoke about this. We said like Hajj is going to test you in every way possible. It's going to push you beyond your limits. Things are going to happen to you never expect. People are going to get on your nerves. Things are just going to go wrong. Arrangements for buses and food and everything is going to go things just go wrong in Hajj. And it's part of the process, and we stressed the verse. Yes, you don't just be prepared. Whatever happens, you're not going to lose your Hajj. Hold it in. Don't lose your Hajj. Well, that means you haven't really benefited from Hajj if you're going to do something. So that's the point behind Hajj, right? Yes, sister. Can you speak up? State of Ihram. If what? Cut, yeah. Yeah, if anyone gets injured, do whatever is possible. No worries. Yeah, no problem. You can apply even if something has a smell or a scent, not a big deal, inshallah.
Some brothers are taking hand gloves to use in the washroom to remove all the holes. Is it
Plastic ones? Okay.
They can wear it, or it is also around for prohibited for brothers?
I would say avoid it. I mean, prohibited for brothers and sisters. Sisters are not supposed to wear gloves, but I would say avoid it, because even though it has no stitches, and this is where the makhit comes about. Makhit, as we said, it's not had stitches. It means it's tailored for the body. So even plastic is made for the house. So what I would recommend, don't use it. What you can take is napkins, or you can take some wipes or plastic sheets, whatever they are, and use them. But don't use gloves. Be on the safe side. Oh yeah, recommend that. But we said if someone doesn't find, really it should be okay. Only the scented ones, inshallah, should be okay. But avoid them. Huh? Wallah khalas. If there is a health reason, genuine health reason for it, no problem. But if there is no reason, don't wear it. It's not really makhit at the end of the day. It's not really makhit.
Mask, then you have to do the done.
No, I'm saying that's out of precaution, because mask is not something that is tailored or anything. So better not to use it unless there is a genuine health like risk. Any more questions? Yes.
My dad first.
He did it? Okay. Did you do Hajj before? Yes, you make Hajj for your dad this time. No, you do the same. You do your own Hajj and it counts for him. But when you make your niyyah for Hajj, labbaik Allahumma hajjan wa umrah, you also say, if you want to say, either say it in your heart or speak it, there's no problem saying it. Say labbaik Allahumma hajjan wa umrah an abi, for my dad. Yeah. More questions?
There's a niyyah that if you can't complete your Hajj and you add that niyyah with your...
Good you reminded us of this. It's not it's an extension of the niyyah. So when you make your niyyah, and it's good you guys have these things ready, like these booklets. You say Allahumma mahilli haythu habastani. Oh Allah, my release from the state of ihram is wherever I'm blocked. Because sometimes something might happen, like a health issue where you can't really make your ihram, or you can't complete your Hajj, or so. Because if this happens, if your Hajj is blocked, you have to make hadi, you have to slaughter a sheep. But if you say this annexation or this addition, Allahumma mahilli haythu habastani, oh Allah, my release from ihram is where I'm blocked, then you can release yourself from the state of ihram and cancel your Hajj or Umrah without any hadi, without having to pay any hadi. Okay?
These intentions and supplications or duas you're going to make over there, does it have to be always in Arabic? Is it better to read in Arabic or say?
There are certain specific things you need to say in Arabic, and as I said, all of these are recommendations. Look at them, these are sunan. None of them is rukun, none of them is wajib, except the intention. Labbaik Allahumma hajjan wa umrah, you have to say it. Like for example, on the-Safa, la ilallah wahdahu la sharika lah, nasara abdahu, azza jundahu, hazam al-ahzaba wahdah. This one you say it in Arabic, but your dua you say it in English if you want. Okay? So there are things from the Prophet ﷺ, certain adhkar, it's better to learn them, or at least have the booklet and say them, and then you have lots of time to make dua in your own language or any other thing, or make an open dua even in Arabic if you know what it means and you feel it. There's something about sisters who might be in their menses. A woman in her menses, in her period, can actually do everything, can go through the whole process of Hajj except for one thing, tawaf. Tawaf, because tawaf is salah, is prayer. So she can't engage in tawaf. So what does she do? She waits until her period is over, and then she makes up her tawaf. If she missed two tawaf, she makes both. If she missed one, she makes that tawaf up. What if she, like the iddah is, or the period is not over, and they have to leave? She did everything in Hajj except for tawaf. What did she say? Now they're supposed to leave and still she's in her period. What does she do? Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah, he says, she cleans herself properly, she goes and performs tawaf. Even though. Now there's another suggestion for women who live, for example, in Saudi Arabia, or who have more access to Hajj, like following years. Or she has access to Hajj at other times. Like she was in her period, she couldn't make tawaf and she had to leave, but she has access to Mecca later on. She actually goes and leaves, and then whenever she's able to come to Mecca, she makes up that tawaf. That would be the best option. But for many people, many women, Mecca is not accessible. It's difficult. They live far. It's going to be a lot of hassle to go back to Mecca. Then she can take the fatwa of Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah. She cleans herself and then she makes tawaf even though she's still in her period. She can do it any time during the year if she has access. Yeah, during the year if she has access. Because this.
Stay
No. She goes back with ihram, but when she comes back, she makes goes again into ihram and she makes her tawaf. You're taking it frantically, yeah? Imagine she stays 2 years away from Mecca and the state of Haram. Don't touch me, like don't come near me. Don't get him trapped, man. Don't get him in trouble. Type. Any questions? Okay. Seems we're all good now, huh? طيب. Hope inshallah your Hajj goes well. I need from each one of you a gift. So I have at least 15 gifts. And the gift I want from you is dua. Honestly, don't get me any physical gift. I really mean that. Please don't get me any physical gift. The best gift you give me is dua. Yeah. Huh? That's your business. سبقك عكاشة. طيب جزاكم الله خيرا وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم. بارك الله فيكم.